What if those creepy urban legends you've heard aren't just stories? They happened, whispered truths hidden in the shadows. Let's unravel 10 haunting tales with real secrets behind them, and brace yourself for the unknown. Number 10. The Hookman on Lover's Lane. Let's start with a tale that sends shivers down the spine of every couple daring to park on a secluded lane. You've heard whispers of the Hookman, a shadowy figure with a hook for a hand, stalking lovers in the dead of night. They hear a sinister scratching on their car, panic, and speed away, only to find a hook dangling from the door handle, glinting in the moonlight. It sounds like a campfire story meant to terrify, but listen closely. In the 1940s and 50s, there were whispers of a man with a prosthetic hook attacking people in parked cars. Some say it happened on quiet, wooded lanes where couples sought privacy. A 1946 newspaper even reported a couple finding a hook lodged in their car door after a heart-pounding escape. I used to think this was just a spooky story to scare kids parking in the middle of nowhere. But knowing there's an honest guy behind it? That's terrifying. I bet you've heard this tale before. It's a legend. But the Hookman might be more real than you think. Number 9. The Kidney Heist in the Big City. Let's move on to a tale that'll chill your bones. You've probably heard the creepy story of a guy who goes to a party, has a few drinks, and wakes up in a bathtub of ice, missing a kidney. Someone stole it, they say, to sell on the black market, leaving the victim with nothing but a scar and a nightmare. It sounds like a twisted horror tale, but hold on. In the late 1980s, shadowy organ trafficking rings were uncovered in bustling cities, preying on the vulnerable, like lone travelers or those down on their luck. A chilling 1987 report told of a man who was drugged and woke up with surgical scars, swearing his kidney had been taken. There is no icy bathtub, but the core of this legend, organ theft, is rooted in grim reality. I used to laugh this story off, thinking there's no way it could be true, but now it gives me the creeps. I bet you've heard this one before. It's a legend with a dark, twisted truth hiding underneath. Number 8. The Vanishing Hitchhiker Who Leaves a Token. Step closer. I have a ghostly story that'll make you question what's out there. The legend tells of a driver who picks up a hitchhiker, often a young woman in a flowing dress, who asks for a ride home. They chat under the pale moonlight, but when they reach her house, she vanishes from the car without a trace. Later, the driver learns she died years ago, and sometimes they find a token she left behind, a scarf or a locket, proof of her spectral presence. It's the stuff of midnight ghost stories. But listen. In the 1970s, a driver in a quiet Chicago suburb picked up a girl who vanished from his car, leaving behind a locket. When he investigated, he found she matched the description of a girl who died in a crash years before. Similar eerie accounts have surfaced over the decades, with drivers swearing it happened to them. I always thought this was a ghost story to tell around a fire, but these real accounts make me wonder if spirits might be closer than we think. I bet you've heard this one before. A legend with a haunting truth behind it. Number 7. The Sewer Alligators That Grew Up Big. Here's a story that sounds too wild to be true, but don't be so quick to dismiss it. The legend speaks of alligators lurking in the sewers, massive beasts that people flush down the toilet as tiny pets, only for them to grow into monsters underground, slithering through the darkness. It sounds like a cartoonish nightmare, but there's a grain of truth here. In the 1930s, there were reports of alligators being found in sewer systems. It turns out that people flush baby alligators they'd bought as pets, especially in places where they were sold as quirky novelties. A 1935 newspaper article even reported a 2-foot alligator being pulled out of a sewer pipe, its eyes glinting in the shadows. They didn't grow into giants, but the idea of them living down there isn't pure fiction. I used to think this story was just a silly joke, but now I can't stop picturing alligators crawling through the pipes, and it's giving me the creeps. I bet you've heard this one. A legend with some slimy, real roots. Number 6. The Clown Statue That Was a Person. Prepare for a tale that'll make you want to check every corner of your house. The legend tells of a babysitter watching kids, noticing a creepy clown statue in the living room that keeps giving her the chills. She calls the parents asking if she can move it, and they freeze, saying, "What statue? We don't have a clown statue." The horrifying truth. It's not a statue, but a real person. A criminal hiding in the house, watching her every move. It sounds like pure nightmare fuel, but there's a real story. In the early 2000s, a family found a man dressed as a clown hiding in their home for days, silently watching them. He was caught after the babysitter sensed something off and called the police. No statue? But a stranger hiding in plain sight? That's pure terror. I used to think this was a scary story, but knowing it happened? I'm never looking at clown decorations the same way again. You've heard this one, haven't you? A legend with a bone-chilling truth. Number 5. The haunted doll that moves on its own. Here's a story that'll haunt your dreams, especially if dolls creep you out. The legend speaks of a haunted doll, a porcelain nightmare that moves on its own, blinks its glassy eyes, or even whispers in the dead of night, terrifying everyone around it. It sounds like a horror movie plot, but there's a real story. In 1970, a family in Florida claimed their daughter's doll, named Robert, would shift positions, change its eerie expression, and even let out a chilling giggle. They documented it for years, and the doll's now in a museum, where staff swear it still acts strange, moving when no one's watching, its gaze following you. Some call it a hoax, but the family's detailed accounts and photos make it hard to dismiss entirely. I used to think this was just a spooky tale to scare kids, but a real doll doing this? That's next-level creepy. You've heard this one. It's a legend with a hauntingly real twist. Number 4. The Candyman's poison treats on Halloween. Here's a Halloween tale that'll make you rethink those trick-or-treat hauls. The legend tells of the Candyman, a sinister figure who hands out poisoned candy to kids on Halloween, leading to panicked warnings about checking your treats for hidden dangers. It sounds like a scary story to keep kids in line, but there's a dark truth behind it. In 1974, a man named Ronald Clark O'Brien poisoned his son with cyanide-laced candy to collect insurance money. He even gave tampered candy to other kids to make it look like a random Halloween crime. Thankfully, no other children were harmed, but the case sparked widespread fear about Halloween candy that lingers today. I used to think this was just a myth to scare us as kids, but now I know it happened. That's bone-chilling. You've heard this one too, haven't you? A legend with a truly sinister history. Number 3. The Bunny Man Who Attacks on a Bridge. This tale is so wild that you'll hardly believe it's rooted in reality. The legend speaks of the Bunny Man, a figure in a rabbit costume who lurks near a bridge, attacking unsuspecting people with an axe, especially around Halloween, his eerie silhouette illuminated by the moon. It sounds like a campfire story to scare teens, but there's a real story here. In 1970, reports surfaced of a man in a bunny costume threatening people in Virginia. He even threw a hatchet through a car window in one terrifying incident. No one knows who he was or why he did it, but the story grew into the legend of the Bunny Man, with people claiming he still haunts a specific bridge. I thought this was a silly tale, but a real guy in a bunny suit? That's pure nightmare fuel. You've heard this one. A legend with a bizarre, real-life origin. Number 2. The Body Under the Hotel Bed. Here's a story that'll make you check every hotel room you ever have. The legend tells of a couple checking into a hotel and noticing a strange, foul smell in the room that won't go away. They keep complaining, and eventually, the staff makes a horrifying discovery. A body hidden under the bed. Someone who'd been there for days, shrouded in darkness. It sounds like pure fiction, but this has happened more times than you'd think. In 2010, a woman's body was found under a hotel bed in Memphis after guests complained about a smell for days. She'd been there for nearly a week, unnoticed. Similar cases have been reported over the years, often tied to undiscovered crime scenes. I used to think this was just a horror story to freak people out, but now I know it's happened for real. I'm checking under every hotel bed from now on. You've heard this one, haven't you? A legend with a grim, haunting truth. Number 1. The Slender Man sightings that inspired a crime. Let's end with one of our time's most chilling urban legends. You've probably heard of Slender Man, a tall, faceless figure in a black suit who stalks people, often children, in the shadowy woods, his presence a silent, looming terror. It started as an online meme in 2009, but here's the dark twist. It inspired real-life horror. In 2014, 2 girls in Wisconsin lured a friend into the woods and attacked her, claiming Slender Man had told them to do it. They believed he was real and wanted to prove their loyalty. Miraculously, the victims survived, but the case shocked the world, showing how urban legends can take on a life of their own and lead to unspeakable acts. I remember hearing about Slender Man as a spooky internet story, but knowing it led to something so real and terrifying? That's beyond chilling. You've listened to this one, right? A modern legend with a dark, real-life shadow. So, there you have it. 10 urban legends with haunting truths behind them. Next time you hear a spooky tale, you might want to dig deeper. Catch you in the following video.